Summer programs designed for dyslexic learners can cost thousands for just a few weeks. Assistive technology subscriptions add up month after month. Some families end up looking at private schools specifically designed for learning differences. We're talking costs that rival college tuition now. I'm Jenny Scherson, ex-special educator turned dyslexia interventionist. It wasn't so long ago that I, too, was overwhelmed by balanced literacy versus structured literacy, education speak, and everything in between. Fast forward after many, many hours of self-driven education, and you'll see I've built a thriving dyslexia practice helping students from age 6 to 18. My specialties? Working with a quote-unquote difficult, almost always 2E, student, and breaking down the complexities of dyslexia into everyday language strategies and action steps. The school evaluation was free, but everything that came after? Yeah, that's a whole different story. If you're just starting this dyslexia journey, you might be in for a bit of sticker shock when it comes to what families actually spend helping their kids learn to read. Today, we're talking about the financial reality of raising a dyslexic child, the costs nobody warns you about, and those impossible choices so many families end up facing. Whether you're trying to figure out how to budget for your first evaluation, or you're years into this and you're wondering if you're spending money on the right things, this one's for you. Because here's the truth. While that identification process might start free at school, getting your child the help they actually need, that's where the real costs start piling up. Let me paint you a picture of what a lot of families are dealing with. Tutoring on your own? Well, we're talking anywhere from $800 to $2,500 per month, depending on where you live and what kind of intervention your child needs. And this isn't a quick fix. Most kids need specialized instruction for several years. But tutoring's just the beginning. Private evaluations can run you anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000. Then there's technology, and I'm not just talking about the initial apps and software. I'm talking about the ongoing costs of broken headphones, computer updates, replacing equipment that gets dropped or lost or just plain worn out from constant use. And then there are all those costs people don't even think about at first. If you're doing in-person tutoring, there's time and travel, gas, parking, taking time off work to drive to appointments. Online tutoring, you need better internet and backup equipment for when something inevitably breaks at 4 p.m. on a Tuesday. Summer programs designed for dyslexic learners can cost thousands for just a few weeks. Assistive technology subscriptions add up month after month. Some families end up looking at private schools specifically designed for learning differences. We're talking costs that rival college tuition now. And here's something that catches a lot of families off guard. The costs tend to go up as your child gets older. What you're paying for elementary interventions is one thing, but by middle school and high school, you're often looking at more specialized, more expensive support. I've worked with families who have had to choose between dyslexia intervention and summer camp for the kids, between the services their child desperately needs and that family trip that they've been planning. The guilt that comes with that? It's overwhelming. You know what your child needs, but the financial reality doesn't always line up with the educational reality. Middle-class families often get hit the hardest. They make too much to qualify for free services, but not enough to easily absorb thousands of dollars in annual education costs. They're stuck in this gap where they can see exactly what their child needs, but can't quite reach it financially. And there's this uncomfortable truth about how where you live and what you earn affects your kids' access to help. Families in wealthier areas often have better school programs and more resources. Families with more money can try different interventions until they find what clicks. Meanwhile, other families are making one choice and crossing their fingers that it's the right one. But here's what really gets me: the long-term costs of not stepping in early. The research is pretty clear. Kids who don't get appropriate intervention fall further and further behind each year. What might cost a few $1,000s to tackle in second grade could end up costing tens of thousands to try to remediate in high school, if you can fully remediate it at all by that point. Okay, before you start panicking about all these numbers, let me tell you what I've learned from working with hundreds of families over the years. Some families get way better returns on their dyslexia interventions than others. And here's the thing. The families who see the best outcomes aren't always the ones spending the most money. They're the ones spending smart. They understand how to work with the school system to reduce what they have to pay for privately. They know how to prioritize what their child actually needs rather than trying to do everything at once. There's actually a strategy to making these financial decisions. Most families just never learn it. It's about understanding which interventions matter most at different stages, how to get the most out of school provided services, and figuring out when you're spending money on the right things versus when you're just throwing money at the problem, hoping something sticks. Now, here's something you might not know about scholarships. Some of my own students come to me through Step Up for Students here in Florida. Without that scholarship, their families wouldn't be able to afford my private one-on-one services. It's worth doing some digging to see if there are similar scholarship programs in your state or area. Sometimes these resources exist, but nobody tells you about them unless you go looking. The key is having an actual plan rather than just scrambling to react to each crisis as it pops up. If you're staring down some tough financial decisions about your child's education, or if you want to learn how to really maximize what the school provides so you're not footing the entire bill privately, check out my Together Through Dyslexia mentorship program. It's 6 months of working together to figure out exactly how to advocate for intensive school services, which can seriously cut down on how much you need to spend on private help. You can find all the details at literacyuntangled.com/together-through-dyslexia. I really could have made a better link. But honestly, every family deserves to know how to get their child the support they need without going broke in the process. Until next time, bye-bye. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Literacy Untangled. If you loved this episode as much as I did, head on over and rate and subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you want to continue the conversation or share your takeaways, head on over to our Instagram at Literacy Untangled and comment on your favorite part. I can't wait to hang out with you again soon. Bye.